Hi guys, Brenda here. Welcome to Sewing Back. Um, Hope you're having a great day. Today started out pretty nasty. It was pouring down rain this morning. And now after lunch, the sun has come out. We haven't seen the sun. I don't even know when. Probably at least over a week. We've had rain all week. It's just a mud hole. Um, it's just not fun. I miss my childhood days of Georgia January weather, where most of the days it would be like today. I have my sunroof open, it's 65 degrees and sunny. And we didn't typically get this much rain like we have in the last, I want to say it's really changed in the last 5 to 10 years. And you can take what you want with that. I'm not trying to make a political statement or anything. It's just weird how it's so different. And but anyway, I'm excited to have the sun. And today's video is going to be a little bit different than what I normally do. And I hope that it will encourage you. It's meant for encouragement. I am fixing to head out to my local Target because I'm a 50-year-old woman and I don't own one piece of luggage. Not one. And I'm going away for a ladies' retreat this weekend. I have not gone on a ladies' retreat since 2014, so almost 10 years. And I'm excited about going. To be honest, I don't even know who all signed up. I got sick and I didn't get to ask. I don't care. I did get a private room. I'm thankful now that I got a private room, just because at night sometimes I still cough a little, and I wouldn't want to be sharing a room with somebody that would make them feel weird. So it'd make me feel weird. So I'm excited. I need to go get a piece of luggage so that I can pack my stuff. I also need to get a couple toiletries. I don't want to take like full size anything. It's just for a weekend getaway. And so yeah, so I'm going to do that. But in preparing for this, I don't know, it kind of made me think a little bit, and that's what I really want to share with you today. The first thing I want to say is, I'm kind of coming to the end of raising my children. I still have one minor I have two children still at home. One's in college, and a young adult, and the other one he's still a minor and in high school. And so I have about 18 months until said child will no longer be a minor. He will be graduated out of high school and ready to venture out into his college, trade school, whatever he decides, to, move into his adulthood and life. And so one of the things that I was thinking about with me going away this weekend, it's a pretty big deal. My men's are like, and how long are you going to be gone? And what are we supposed to do? And all those kinds of things. And what I wanted to talk to you about is, when your kids are growing up and they're getting ready to leave the nest, one, you want to feel like you have prepared them well, and hopefully you have. That's not today's topic for this video. But as a parent, as a mom, I think one of the best things that we ever did for our children, and all of our children, to help prepare us for when they were going to fly the coop, was allowing them to participate in like a summer camp, church retreats, school trips where our kids had to go away from us, for a period of time. They were not, you know, on their own without supervision. There were adults and all that kind of stuff. But our kids, they had to go out and kind of see what life was like without us in a controlled environment. And we as parents had to kind of get used to, oh, he's not here or she's not here. I only have he's. So they weren't here. And it always amazed me how just taking one of the four away for a weekend or an overnight trip, or even a week, like if they went to summer camp or something, how different it was in the house, how much quieter, all that kind of stuff. But a little piece of me let go, of that said boy when he went and did those things. And that is so helpful for when your kids are finally really at that jumping off place and they're going. A lot of people feel that way about the college years. My boys have all lived at home and worked their way through college. So they didn't really have that experience. We weren't really all that worried about that experience. If you are, no judgment. That's, you have to do you. It was just financially not something that was going to be part of our, what our kids' plans were going to be. And we're thankful that our kids were willing to work their way through school, to work hard, be hard workers. And I honestly felt like it set my kids up so well. My older son, when he graduated with his degree, he had already been working all through college. He really had a career. And as he was putting out, his resume applications and all that to move into, his career after school, that he had that foundation that he had, and he had worked, so set him up well in life. And as he was competing against other people coming out of school, and maybe they came out of schools that were upper tier schools, and he's just in a, our hometown school. And what I've seen with all of my kids is that because they had a good work ethic, a strong work ethic, and because they had actually had the experience of working, even those first jobs, those fast food jobs when they're teens, so many parents don't allow their kids to do that anymore. And all of my kids have been able to do that. They've been able to maintain good grades, do extracurricular things, whatever that was for said child, and make it work. And they've been better for it. They've been better people, and better to have success. So, but back to the topic. When they leave, it chokes you up. It's not easy. It is a time that really marks, okay, I've done my job. And it's not that you stop being that child's parent. Hopefully by this point, particularly if they're young adults, that your relationship's already changed some anyway. But because you were willing to let your kids do all those other things while they were growing up, your heart's prepared to let them soar. And it doesn't mean you won't miss them, and you won't miss having your kids all under one roof. But it is kind of nice when they're gone. Just saying. You get a lot of your space back. And it's great to see them achieve. And so that's kind of what I wanted, to encourage you on, is that it's not just important to have that with your kids, it's also important to have that for yourself, and to have friendships and like-minded, groups of people that you could go away with for, a retreat, or maybe a girls' weekend, or a guys' hunting trip, or whatever it might be, because it's just important that we have these relationships in our lives. The last couple of years, I've had family members, and I've had several friends, church friends, old homeschool friends, just different from different parts of life, who have become widows. It's a natural part of life. The truth of it is it would be great if John and I lived to be 100 in great health, and we went to sleep one night and we woke up with Jesus. Boy, that'd be great. That's not realistic. That's not really how things go normally. To be quite honest, I have told John many times, I've told my boys, I will probably go before he will, because I've just had a lot of health issues and things that have went on in my life that I know there's a cost analysis. And so I figure outside of some accident or something, that's a real probability. And so, I don't want to be morbid. My kids know when I'm not here, and John knows, my family knows. They know if I'm not here, they know where I'm at. I'm with the Lord, and I'm at peace with that. I have no control over that, other than to try to live a good life, by how I treat myself, how I treat my body, what I put in my body. Those are the things that I can do to help prolong my life, and essentially the things you're supposed to do. But outside of that, I don't have any control over it. I don't really sit around worrying about it, thinking too much about it. But I have had some conversations with, of course, with my husband, but with my kids, even with my parents, and, what I think, what I would want, and those kinds of things. And I think my point here is watching several friends and loved ones going through like some of the hardest grief of your life, that are thriving in spite of the grief and just all the things that goes along with that kind of devastation, are the ones that had taken time throughout their adult life to develop and mentor and cherish their friends, their friendships. And because those individuals need those friendships and those friends to help bear up their burden with them. And that's biblical. We're supposed to do that. We're supposed to bear each other's burdens. And I think a lot of times we just think our kids are going to, be able to, I guess, fit the bill. And I'm not saying that there's not components of that they do, but I don't think they can fit every bill when you're going through something like that. And for me, if it were the opposite and John passed away before I did, it would be very different. I have all sons. I don't have daughters. Men and women kind of handle things very differently. I would be amiss if I didn't have those female relationships in my life that I could share my grief with. And I know that grief is a private thing and that everybody does it a little bit differently. But those were just some of my observations that I started thinking about as I have watched these ladies go, and not all of them are ladies. We actually have some gentlemen as well that we know where they've lost their wives, and it's, like I said, it's challenging. And so anyway, I guess what I wanted to say to encourage you is not to be, a Brandy Downer. I'm not trying to be a Brandy Downer. I'm just real. I think about these things. I can't be the only person who thinks about these things. And I think it's important to acknowledge that taking these types of times for yourself, allowing your spouse to do the same, is really important. Just like you would allow your kids to take those trips and have those times. And I guess the other thing I would say is, if you're someone and you were like, yeah, I'd really like to do that, but I can't afford it or whatnot. First, I would encourage you to check out, a good local church. If you don't have one, they typically have events and different things like that. I think that's a great avenue to go. I have a church. I'm going with my church. And I'm looking forward to it. But I understand the whole hesitation to spend the money on something like that, especially if money's really tight or there's just not money there. And that could be said for your kids as well. Like if you really feel like it would be beneficial for them to go to camp at summer or on a youth trip or whatever, but money's an issue. I would encourage you not to not ask for assistance from said church or organization or what have you. I remember we had 4 boys and I had one son, and he wanted to go to this one camp. He had friends going, and that we knew from school they were going to this camp. And the thought of what it cost to send your kid to this camp, I just couldn't do it. I had other children. Financially, it just wasn't in our budget. And I remember that I had a friend, and they said, it would be so good for said child to go to this camp. And I said, oh, I'm sure it would be. We just can't afford that, And I'm not saying it's not worth it, that there's not value in it. It's just, there's sometimes in your life you just can't do it. And I remember that friend encouraged me and said, they have scholarships. We have people all the time who give so that these kids can go. And I'm like, but that's for people who really don't have anything or whatever. And I'll never forget, she said, there's money for them too. She said, this money is exactly for things like this. And so we put together an application to ask for a scholarship. And that year he got granted a scholarship that paid for him to go to camp. He had to pay a small fee, and he did like odd jobs, and we matched him. And so it was doable. Like, it was something we could do. And it was so good that this kid of mine got to go to that summer camp that year. There was so much growth, and that he experienced things he had not done before. There's a lot of learning that takes place, like on playgrounds and things when parents aren't around, that are good for kids to have to figure out what their grit is. And I was so incredibly thankful that I listened to my friend, and that I wasn't prideful or whatever, even if in my mind, I thought, well, it's for, like I said, that's for people who really have nothing, and I don't want to take from them. We have a good life, and that she said, no, there's both. And I was always so thankful for that. And it wasn't maybe a few years after that, I just started giving. It's not like I give a lot to that camp, but they have a scholarship fund, and every December, I send in a gift to help pay for, a scholarship to go towards some kid's scholarship. Because I don't, I want that to be available for someone else's kid, just like it was for our family and my kid. And that could be true for you too. And to be very honest, if I knew any woman in my church that wanted to go on our retreat and money was an issue, we just extend the pantry challenge, and I'd take part of my grocery budget and I'd pay for it so they could go. Because I wouldn't want that to keep anyone from going. And so don't be afraid to ask those things. Don't be afraid. Don't feel bad. Because one day you'll be in a different season of life, and you can pay it forward. And so, and don't think you won't ever be in a different place in life where you could pay it forward. It just always works out like that. So anyway, I hope you didn't find this morbid. I hope you found this encouraging. I hope that you will take times to build friendships, to connect with certainly your loved ones, but also your friends, and that you would hold them dear and close, so that when a difficult time comes, you can bear up each other's burdens. And so I'm looking forward to that this weekend. I'm looking forward to getting closer with some of the ladies at my church. Some of them I know really well. And we also have a lot of newer people at our church, so that I'm still getting to know. And so yeah. So anyway, like I said, this was a little bit different. I'm going to head off now. I got to get to Target and get this 50-year-old woman a bag so she can pack her stuff and show up looking, I guess, and feeling like a normal person. Not showing up with, I don't know, like some kind of reusable grocery bag or some kind of stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that. So, but anyway, I hope that you have a great day. I hope this blessed you. If you found value in this, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. If you are enjoying our content, we would love it if you subscribe to our channel. If you know someone you think who maybe they need to hear this, feel free to share our channel with them. We always appreciate that very much. And with that, I am ready to let the wind hit my hair and the sun on my face, and I'm excited. So with that, I will see you later. And I'll probably put in a little insert of whatever my luggage turns out to be. So we'll see you next time. Bye.